Hello, hello. Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to everyone watching on YouTube, Twitter, and I believe I did Rockfin. If not, I'll have to double check. But shout out to all of you guys. Welcome to the Sabby Sab Show on Revolutionary Blackout Network. I hope you guys are ready for this weekend. However you choose to celebrate the 4th of July, I hope some of you or most of you get Monday off from work. I hope some of you got to leave work early today. But I will definitely be celebrating Monday, so I will not be streaming on Monday. So I'm going to spend some time with the hubs. All right, really quick, I want to give shout outs to people in the chat. What is going on, Donna? Party politics, how non-progressive. Ooh. Shout out to Tony, says hit that like button for Sabby and RBN. Yes, please do that. I forget to tell people that sometimes. Conrad, what's going on? Ketanji Brown Jackson. What's up, Ashura? Says sell out Ketanji Brown. We haven't even started yet. What's going on? Eric Gray says, what's good, everybody? Shout out to Colin, says, happy Friday, everyone. Greetings, Angela, says, hey, RBN and fam, hope all are well. Shout out to Savvy Sab, says, hi, Sabby. Hi, Savvy. Greetings, Notori, says, fire, love, fire. Shout out to Terry, says, hello, fam. Greetings, Optimism of the Will, says, hello, all. Hello to you as well. Shout out to Salgato, tiramisu and Spanish bean stew tonight. That sounds really good. Can you send me some? That sounds really, really, really good. I love tiramisu. All right, guys, what are we going to be talking about tonight? So I will say I was able to catch part of CJ's stream earlier, and he was roasting Joe Biden. And I will also be roasting Joe Biden. I guess and I'll be roasting Joe Biden on my show later tonight. So I guess we're all coming after Joe today. All of us are coming after Joe. So what am I going to talk about tonight? Let me go ahead and share my thumbnail here. Okay. Tonight, I am going to discuss Ketanji Brown Jackson is sworn in, and what does that mean for the American people? What does that mean for the Supreme Court? And I'm going to talk about some of the things that's been going on with the Supreme Court recently. I'm also going to discuss Joe Biden makes a deal. Now, why is Mitch McConnell in that picture? We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that tonight. Okay, so the first story that I want to get started with, let me go ahead and pull this up. Okay, so if you have not noticed, Justice Breyer did resign. He did step down. We knew that this was going to happen. He announced this last year that he would be resigning at the end of this term. That means that Ketanji Brown has now been sworn in. So I want to go ahead and share that clip, and I have some things to say about this as well. Okay, this was breaking news. So let's go ahead and share this.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Ketanji Brown Jackson, do solemnly swear.
I, Ketanji Brown Jackson, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I'm about to enter.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much. And now I'll turn things over to Justice Breyer.
Good. The judicial oath, will you raise your right hand, please? Thank you. I, Ketanji Brown Jackson,
I, Ketanji Brown Jackson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will administer justice
that I will administer justice
without respect to persons
without respect to persons
and do equal right
and do equal right
to the poor and to the rich,
to the poor and to the rich,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties
all the duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States,
as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States,
under the Constitution
under the Constitution
and laws of the United States.
and laws of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Now, on behalf of all of the members of the court, I am pleased to welcome Justice Jackson to the court and to our common calling.
So that was Ketanji Brown being sworn in. She's fairly young, so she'll be there for a while. Now, there's a couple of things I want to talk about in reference to this. Number one, what does this mean for the Supreme Court when it comes to voting? Nothing. Literally, there's no change. And I've seen a lot of people on Twitter the day that she was sworn in saying, yay, we finally got a Black female Supreme Court justice. And I'm like, okay, again, like what does that mean? What does that do for Black people? That doesn't do anything for Black people, right? That doesn't really help the Black community. But they're really excited about that. Meanwhile, we just had the Supreme Court overturn Roe v. Wade. So I'm looking at this in reference to voting, and I'm wondering, what difference does this make? And it doesn't, because Justice Breyer was already the Democrat judge. She's taking his place. You still have a conservative court. The majority of the justices are conservative. So in reference to voting, this does not change anything. And I hear a lot of people saying they're really excited about this. They're really excited about it, but this isn't doing anything. It doesn't help. Another thing about her, I want you to look at where she stands on the record. Because again, a lot of people were just so focused on identity politics when it came to this appointment here, but not looking at her record. So let's take a look at that. Going to go ahead and share this article here, and I'm going to put this in the chat as well because I highly recommend that you guys read this. I can't read the entire article for you, but I do recommend that you check it out. So I'm just going to put it down here in the chat so you can read the rest of it when you have a chance. Now, this is Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's Supreme Court confirmation hearings. Opinions offer insight into views on the First Amendment. So they're going through her record here. So let's go ahead down to, there's one case in particular I do want to look at, and that is United States versus Wolf. So listen to this. In 2019, Judge Jackson presided over the former case United States versus Wolf, where the director of security for the United States Senate Select Committee on Intelligence was indicted on 3 charges of making false statements about his contacts with reporters to the FBI during an investigation into his unlawful disclosure of information. Let's go down. In sentencing, Wolf, on his one count of guilty plea, Judge Jackson, actually, I need to make this larger. I thought I made this larger for you guys, but it looks like it got a little, there we go. Now I lost my place. Okay, here we go. I think it jumped. Where? 1 second, guys. It just jumped for some reason. Okay, there we go. All right. Again, we're looking at United States versus Wolf. So listen to this. In sentencing Wolf on his 1-count guilty plea, Judge Jackson denied considering his connections with reporters and rejected the government's request for a stricter sentence outside of the sentencing guidelines. Judge Jackson found that while such contact was certainly potentially harmful and entirely inappropriate, maintaining relationships with reporters is not a crime. The risk associated with Wolf's reporter contacts should not drive the sentence. Now, again, this is someone, Wolf, the director of security for the United Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, was indicted on 3 charges of making false statements about his contacts with reporters to the FBI during an investigation into unlawful disclosure of information. I would consider this to be very much important. This is a problem. So let me go down here for a second. According to her record, according to this particular case, she didn't seem to think that his relationship with reporters, she said certainly potentially harmful and entirely inappropriate. But she came back and said maintaining relationships with reporters is not a crime. Again, this is someone on the Intelligence Committee. So this is interesting. That one really stood out to me. Let me go ahead and scroll down here. Profanity case. Now, this one is Patterson versus United States. Judge Jackson denied the government's motion to dismiss an individual's claims alleging First and Fourth Amendment violations by U.S. Park police officers who arrested him for cursing in a public park and seeking damages under Bivens versus 6 unknown named agents of the Federal Bureau of Narcotics. 6 unknown, that one cracks me up. But listen to this. Again, in the case of Patterson versus United States, Judge Jackson denied the government's motion to dismiss an individual's claims alleging First and Fourth Amendment violations by U.S. Park police officers who arrested him for cursing in a park. So far, in reference to this case in particular, it seemed like she was more so in favor of these individual freedoms. So that's one part that I would say is a good sign. But make no mistake, Ketanji Brown is corporate. And that's the thing. There's a reason why Joe Biden chose her. She's going to protect Wall Street. She's going to protect the corporations. It's not like putting her there is going to do something for the American people. It's not like putting her there is really going to help us right now. Hell, they already overturned Roe v. Wade, so you know how that is. So that's something I want to point out. I want you to believe, pay close attention to this. Don't be focused on the fact that it's a black woman, the first black woman on the Supreme Court. I want you to pay attention to her record. Let me go back in here. She went on to say, in reference to that case, following a long line of D.C. Circuit precedent, Judge Jackson concluded that First Amendment retaliatory arrest claims are identifiable under Bivens, found that the laws governing free speech are clearly established, and that no reasonable officer could have believed that the man's use of profanity in the park was disorderly conduct. So, she seems to be, from what I've seen so far, she seems to be good when it comes to free speech. Now, again, things could change. Things could change. Who knows? You know, we are living in times right now where there's a lot of censorship. especially from big tech. And like I said, she supports corporations. So I would like to know, when it comes to free speech, when it comes to censorship, especially on these big tech platforms, I want to see how she responds to that. I want to see if she's going to back the creator, the people, or if she's going to back those tech platforms. That's what I'm going to be paying attention to. But so far, based on what I've seen, her record shows she's been pretty good when it comes to free speech. So again, I put the link to that article in the chat if you guys want to see that. I definitely think you should check that out. But she's someone that I'm going to be watching pretty closely because, again, I think that people are focusing on the wrong thing when it comes to her. I'm just being honest with you. I think we need to just pay attention to what she does. And I will be paying attention because the Supreme Court is making some drastic decisions right now. One of them is the EPA. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have seen this, but this came out the other day. Let me go ahead and play this for you here because they're already overturning things that affect climate change now. Listen to this.
Court's decision now limiting the EPA's authority to regulate greenhouse gas emissions, a major driver of the climate crisis, of course. Joining me now is Carol Browner. She's former EPA administrator under President Clinton and former director of the White House Office of Energy and Climate Change Policy under President Obama. It's good to see you. Thank you for being here. Just your reaction to what the Supreme Court just handed down.
It's devastating. It is yet another example of the court's unwillingness to protect the health and safety of the American people, from guns to abortion and now climate change. It is devastating.
If you were in your old job today, Carol, how much does this be changing your work, changing the work of the agency just in the immediate?
Well, my hope is, and I know that the agency will do everything they can to continue to address climate change. It is the most pressing environmental public health issue that we've ever faced. And certainly for communities that are the most impacted, essential that we continue to move forward. So I think they will do what they can. What's deeply troubling about today's decision is it limits what they can do, right? And so rather than allowing them to find the most cost-effective ways to achieve pollution reductions, to encourage more renewables, to bring families lower electricity bills, this court has said you can't do that. It's tied EPA's hands behind its back. It's limited its ability to do what is smart in terms of addressing climate change.
What do you think this looks like then? If the EPA can't regulate greenhouse gas emissions, specifically with regard to power plants, and it will now likely reach further, what does that mean for the agency?
Well, one of the reasons you have an EPA is that they can do the tough job of looking at the law, looking at the science, and understanding how to get rid of pollution. If they don't do that, we're going to be left to go back to Congress. And to be honest, particularly the Senate has not shown a great interest in addressing the realities of climate change. This is.
Yes. Black queer socialista, you're exactly right. The Dems let this happen. I just want to say something here before I finish the video. They're just passing the blame on to other people. Now she's like, well, we'll have to go look back at Congress. How could they have let this happen? The same people who tell us that they care about the climate, that they care about the environment. The Supreme Court just overturned EPA regulations. How is this even happening? What was the point of that? I don't get it. Who was that hurting? Who was that harming? You couldn't have just left that in place? I have become more and more convinced over time that they really, really do not want us to have a future on this planet. I really feel that way. And in that sense, some would say they don't care about their own kids then, or they don't care about their grandkids. Oh no, they probably do care about them. But what you have to understand is those people are rich. When climate change gets really bad, they have the money to move and go somewhere else. They can just pick up their family and go somewhere else. They have bunkers. I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago. There are bunkers now for rich people, so that the next time we have a pandemic, they have a place to go where they're safe. I kid you not. $1 million bunkers. The rest of us would be screwed. We're just stuck. Will people still be complaining about a red-blue game then? Or will they have woken up to the class issue? Something to think about. Let's go back into the video.
This is a pressing, immediate problem that we need to address. And there are answers. There are cleaner solutions to making power. There are ways to save families money. We need to allow the EPA the ability to address climate change and to do it in a cost-effective, common sense manner. Clearly, this court is not living in today's world. It is not taking into account that how we make electricity today is very different than when Thomas Edison invented electricity. I think the case, like many of the cases of the last several weeks, calls into question the legitimacy of the majority of the court, their complete failure to ignore the realities of modern life.
Okay, let's go a little bit deeper into this. I want to share this article from the New York Times about that EPA decision. It's one in a series of setbacks for Mr. Biden, who came into office with the most ambitious climate agenda of any president. I disagree with that. If he had an ambition climate agenda, he wouldn't approve of fracking. So there's that. Pledging to the rest of the world that the United States, the world's largest historic emitter of greenhouse gases, would cut that pollution in half by the end of the decade. Now, after a Supreme Court decision on Thursday, the Environmental Protection Agency will have less authority to limit carbon dioxide from power plants, a major source in this country of the pollution that is dangerously heating the planet. Somebody please explain to me how that makes any sense at all. If you look at the number of cases that come through the Supreme Court, they don't look at every case because they get so many. This is what they chose to go back and overturn. Something that actually would help the American people, that would help the world. They say, oh no, fuck that. Let's go back and overturn it. That's where their mindset is right now. Out of all the cases that come through the Supreme Court, and I'm willing to bet there are more important issues that they should be focusing on instead of trying to come back and overturn EPA regulations, something that would help us again. This is terrible. This is ridiculous. It goes on to say, in a statement, Mr. Biden, notice how they're calling him Mr. Biden. Notice how they're calling him Mr. Biden instead of President Biden. I just found that to be interesting. Mr. Biden called the ruling another devastating decision that aims to take our country backwards, and said the conservative majority on the court was siding with special interests that have waged a long-term campaign to strip away our right to breathe clean air. I want to say this again. They are siding with special interest. They're siding with corporations. They're siding with money. That's what they're siding with. But you know what? Who is Joe Biden to talk? Who are the Democrats to talk? They do it too. All the corporate Democrats in Congress, they also side with special interest groups. They're lying if they tell you that they don't. One of the things that I do often, I go over the numbers and finances for a lot of these politicians on Open Secrets. You can check this out yourself. They're aligning with special interest groups. That's why nothing gets done for us. But again, this is another reason why we need to get corporate money out of politics. Now, I'll continue to say that because I remember when Bernie Sanders was running, there was this push for people saying we need to end Citizens United. We need to get corporate money out of politics. After Joe Biden won, I stopped hearing that from a lot of people. And I had to ask myself, why? Something for you to pay attention to and to think about. I'm going to go to some of the comments in the chat. She's black. Jackson is going to side with the corporations. That's right. That's why she's there. I don't want people to see her and think she's some progressive. She's not. Biden wouldn't put a progressive on the Supreme Court. Esquerdista, Little Lizzie, Thomas Mann, 1897. Great short story that reminds me of Johnson in UK. Interesting. Captain Obvious, I've actually been trying to post my poem on YouTube, but it keeps being auto shadow banned. It's interesting. What's your poem about? What's the title? I'm curious. That might have something to do with it, to be honest. Creative Experiments. Joe has only begun to screw you. He just has the tip in. Wait and oh boy, I needed a laugh. He just has the tip in. Wait until he puts the whole shaft in. Creative Experiments. Why? What you doing? I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to that. Oh dear. Joanna. Thank you, Savvy Truth Teller. Thank you so much, Joanna. Oh man, I can't get that out of my head now. Moving on to the next story. You're killing me. You're killing me. All right, moving on to our next story. This stupid link. Hold on. I hate this sometimes. The link is not broken. Sometimes when you have these links, it's like I got to take that number off at the end. Give me just a second. Sometimes when I copy and paste links, if there's one little thing at the end of it, kind of. Okay, got it. No, I'm not paying for a subscription. Okay, our next story is about Joe Biden. Joe Biden apparently has made some type of a deal with Mitch McConnell. That's going to show you exactly who Joe Biden really is. Let me go ahead and share this article here. Now, this is from Rolling Stone. It was interesting to me that they reported on this. Let's make this larger for the peeps. All right, get rid of these ads. I have ad blocker on too, and it still popped up. Interesting. Listen to this, you guys. Biden is nominating an anti-abortion lawyer to become a federal judge. I'm going to say that one more time. Biden is nominating an anti-abortion lawyer to become a federal judge. Let's check it out. So there's the lawyer here that Joe Biden is nominating. Can't believe this shit. Excuse my language. I have ad blocker on too. What the fuck? Less than a week after the Supreme Court gave women across America the finger with the repeal of Roe v. Wade, President Joe Biden is slated to nominate a Republican anti-abortion lawyer to a lifetime appointment as a federal judge in Kentucky. Again, this is a lifetime appointment. I should ask Zainab how she feels about this because she's in Kentucky. I'm going to ask her if she's heard about this. Joe Biden is slated to nominate a Republican anti-abortion lawyer to a lifetime appointment as a federal judge in Kentucky in an alleged deal struck with Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. Now, I have a couple of questions. Why is Joe Biden making deals with Mitch McConnell? I mean, they care so much about the red-blue game. Why is he working with the Republicans? This is something that I've pointed out before. It seems to be okay when politicians work with people on the other side, but it's not okay for the American people, for us to work with people on the other side to fight for health care, to organize marches, to come together on the class issue. That's not okay. When we do that, we're called a red-brown alliance. We're called grifters. But politicians do this all the time. They do bipartisanship. And it's okay when they do it. So I don't know who will be interviewing Joe Biden next, but I sure as well hope they ask him about this. He needs to be pressed on this. How can you come forth during a press conference and say you're going to fight to help protect women's right to choose? You're going to try to do everything that you can, and you're nominating a Republican anti-abortion judge. He's talking out of both sides of his mouth. As first reported by the Courier Journal, Representative John Yarmouth and other sources say the done deal nomination of Chad Meredith is intended to placate McConnell, who will supposedly pledge to not stall further federal nominations by the Biden White House. You see what this is all about? It's not about helping the people. It's about helping Joe Biden's career. Meredith, a McConnell spokesperson, and the White House all refused to comment to the Louisville-based publication. I'm sure they did. News of the alleged nomination comes as the Biden administration scrambles to address the rollback of abortion rights in a manner that will not appear politically polarizing to voters. You know, just in case you thought the Democrats were actually going to do something about the blatant attack on women's personal autonomy instead of flooding your inbox with hundreds of spam fundraisers a day. And this is why I'm telling you this. Stop donating to them. Stop donating to them. Stop voting for them. It's one corporate party. I don't even know if I believe Joe Biden's going to run in 2024. I don't even know if I believe it. Not with what I'm seeing. This is public information. You know how many people read Rolling Stone? Haven't seen mainstream media press about this. It goes on to say, according to Reuters, I think it's Reuters or Reuters, I forget. White House sources say Biden's inner circle is concerned certain radical moves in response to Roe's reversal could have dire consequences for Democrats in the November midterms, as well as undermine public trust in institutions like the Supreme Court. Instead, insiders claim Biden is committed to pursuing select policy responses and executive actions. I haven't seen it. Apparently, that commitment to women's rights means ensuring a vacancy in the federal courts is filled by someone with a long-standing track record of working to eliminate abortion access for millions of women. Meredith is known to Kentuckians for defending a 2017 state law requiring doctors offering abortions to perform fetal ultrasounds, including showing or describing the image as well as playing audio of the fetus's heartbeat on patients. That law was upheld by the 6th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in 2019. The Kentucky native is also an avowed member of the conservative Federalist Society, which boasts current Supreme Court justices and noted Roe adversaries Samuel Alito, Clarence Thomas, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett among its members. Given that a judicial position isn't currently open on the Eastern District Court, it's clear that this is part of some larger deal on judicial nominations between the president and Mitch McConnell. This is why I tell people the fact. What was that, Captain Obvious? Sabby, I tried to answer your question about what my poem is about, but I got censored again. The title is what Anna Kasparian recently said that we all laughed at. Catch my drift. Oh, hoes be knowing. The hoes be knowing. That one. Yeah, that'll probably get censored. That'll probably get censored. But what I want you guys to understand, the fact that one person can block the president from making a Supreme Court nomination, I never understood that. Never understood that. But here we are. Once again, you see that the Democrats are caving to the Republicans, and this is something they continue to do. Why is that? The Democrats are always giving the Republicans what they want so that they can get something in return, hopefully. You don't see it the other way around. I don't see Republicans cowering to the Democrats. In fact, I see the Republicans saying, look, we're going to do what we want. The Democrats are spineless. They can't do anything. What? You heard Kamala Harris recently talking about whether or not they would allow abortion clinics on federal lands. She couldn't even answer the damn question. Spineless. Thank you so much for the super chat, Colin. Not surprising that this story is not being featured in mainstream media. I found this story in only a handful of places online. Same here. Same here, Colin. I found it because someone tweeted it. And then usually when I find these stories on Twitter, I'll go to Google or I'll go to DuckDuckGo and I'll research it to see if there's other articles. That didn't really happen with this story, which means they're burying the story. They don't want people to know about it. Why do they not want people to know about it? Because they don't want people to know that Joe Biden is lying to women. Comrade Cam, y'all, this country is a joke, I swear. I hear you, right? Because if he's going to do everything that he can to protect women's right to choose, then why would he choose a federal judge that is anti-abortion? Frank said, and that's the same reason RBG didn't resign, because Hillary was going to win, but ended up dying under Trump. The hubris of that lady thinking she was going to outlive Trump's administration. Oh, that is, yeah. Eric said they only fight the left. Right. Now, that's something that both parties agree on, by the way. The Democratic Party and the Republicans, they both hate all of us. They hate the lefties. The progressives, the lefties, the socialists, the Marxists, both of them dislike all of us. That's why I don't understand why you have these progressive, whatever, Justice Democrats, whatever you want to call them, trying to go into a party that doesn't want you there, that doesn't like you, that's never going to pass your policies, that's never going to let those things come through. You're better off going rogue. You really are. Let's go back in. Yarmouth told the Courier-Journal, I strongly oppose this deal and Meredith being nominated for the position. The last thing we need is another extremist on the bench. This is terrible. Again, besides Rolling Stone, who else is reporting this story? Let's see. Let's take a look, because I'm going to look and see if anybody else, because when I checked it, I didn't see it. Let me see. TYT reported on it. Let me unshare this. Sorry, I realized I'm not sharing my screen. Let me share. I was looking to see who actually did a video about this. So let's see. All right. So you guys can see that now. So TYT, Joe Biden to nominate anti-abortion federal judge for lifetime appointment. Let me put in judge. Maybe that'll help with the search results. Okay. The cyber demon person, that's the girl that used to be a racist, but is still talking crap about black people. That one. Biden slams overtone, but seems to be back anti-abortion nominee. Now this is news. They reported it. Who else? Yep. So I said TYT. Again, the damage report, that's TYT as well. So they talked about it. Let's make this bigger for you guys so you can see. Let me see. Okay. No. Nope. 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 See what I mean? Maybe someone else in independent media talked about it. If you know, if you've seen someone else talk about it, put it in the chat. But let's see what TYT said. I want to see how they frame this. Let me go back up to the top. Okay.
Breaking news, President Joe Biden is poised to nominate a right-wing anti-abortion federal judge who will have a lifetime appointment. And Biden has done this, or is poised to do it. It hasn't happened yet, but he's poised to do it in what has been described as a deal with Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. Now, keep in mind, this is a deal that Biden is making.
Oh, am I the first one, Bryce? Wow. Well, Bryce said I'm the first one he's seen talk about it so far. Okay.
With the other side, with the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, even though Democrats hold a majority in Congress, a simple majority in the Senate, and a meteor majority in the House. Now, the Senate is what matters here because we're talking about appointments, we're talking about nominees who need to be confirmed, and here's what happened. So the nomination of Chad Meredith, that's the potential federal judge here, appears to be the result of a deal with US Senator Mitch McConnell, ostensibly in exchange.
Dude, I honestly have to say, if I'm the first, like, wow. Oh, I'm not the first. Leroy, I feel like I heard CJ or Nick talk about it. Okay. Well, RBN.
Get a load of this. For the Senate Minority Leader agreeing not to hold up future federal nominations by the Biden White House. What? First of all, that the deal is garbage.
Oh, another one. Franny said heard it on Black Power Media. Oh, well, balls. Well, Black Power Media is awesome. You guys follow them. Definitely give them a follow. Kim Brown is also a part of Black Power Media. She's part of my monthly women's panel. So definitely follow them. I love their morning show.
Like, I would not take that deal. I would not even entertain that deal. But putting that aside for a second, even if that's really what you want, Biden, if you really desperately just want Mitch McConnell to stop holding up these confirmations, do you actually take him at his word, you moron? You're going to allow for a lifetime appointment of a federal judge who is against reproductive rights, who has made a career out of it.
I'll answer that question, Anna. Yes, Joe Biden is actually going to take Mitch McConnell at his word. You got to think about Joe Biden's mindset right now. Not all there. Just saying.
Made a career out of it. I can't F the Democrats, F Biden. I do not support him. I will not vote for him. I will not tell a single soul to vote for him. He is not our friend, just not. And I don't want to hear from a damn centrist about how dangerous the Republican Party is. I'm just not interested because even when Democrats are in charge, they let the Republican Party take over. They just do. I mean, Jessica, I'm so enraged right now, I can't even think straight.
This is Biden again, folding to the Republicans. If you think about what a deal should be.
I'm sorry, but I just want to say when Anna says she doesn't want anybody to tell her how dangerous the Republicans are, you're that person, Anna. You're the person that says that to people. I mean, come on. Come on. Let's be serious. Come November, Anna Kasparian is still going to tell you to vote for Democrats. Wait and see.
That means someone on both sides gets something. You only need a simple majority in the Senate for a federal nomination to be confirmed. So if we have Manchin and we have Sinema and we have Kamala Harris with the tiebreaker, we don't even need to broker a deal with Mitch McConnell to have this happen. Think about what this federal judge who's appointed to serve for life will do now. The one safeguard we've had to protect women at a time when our reproductive rights are under attack and women will die if they do not have safe and legal access to abortion. We've seen some judges in some states.
JB's in the chat says Biden is the Republican. The Democrats are the Republicans. Well said, JB. Colin, let's see if they change their mind in the fall. Right. I know, right? Let's wait and see.
Pass injunctions so that these trigger laws don't go into effect. Now we have a federal judge in a post-Roe America that was allowed to be appointed and is appointed by a Democratic president. This is insane. People are already upset with the Democrats for not doing anything. Now It's not that they're not doing anything. They're taking active measures to make this worse.
I would advise the Democratic Party to allow for Joe Biden to give up after his first term is over and to find someone else. Okay, someone else to run.
What did I tell you? See how quickly she changed her position? See how quickly she went from she's done with the Democrats. She's done this rant like twice now, by the way. She's done with the Democrats to I'm going to give them some advice. Now she wants to give them advice to help the Democratic Party. And then she goes on to say, just find someone else to run. You see this little back and forth game that she does? Come on. Do you think TYT is seriously going to tell you to leave the Democratic Party when Jeffrey Katzenberg, the guy who gave them that $20 million, is buddy with Nancy Pelosi? I don't think so. Just like that. See how quick she changed it? I'm going to give them some advice. Let me help you out. Get someone else to run. So then those of us at TYT can tell people to keep voting for the Democratic Party and not look like we got egg on our face. That was fast. I didn't think it was going to happen in this video, but that happened very quickly.
For the Democratic Party, because I, under no circumstance at this point, will support Biden. I don't trust Biden. I don't like Biden. I think that he is a feckless, disgusting, corrupt tool for corporate America. And honestly, at this point, for the right-wing religious zealots in this country. That's what he's doing. It's a lifetime appointment. In exchange for what? Mitch McConnell allowing for, the confirmation hearings for your nominees? Who cares? Who cares? First of all, who cares about that? Don't you have a majority in the Senate? Why do you need the Republican Party to play ball with you on this? And why do you even need them to be confirmed? I mean, how many people served in Trump's administration who had never been confirmed? Never been acting this, acting that, acting, AG. It was acting everywhere.
For a long time.
What is he doing? What is that? No, but this is who he is, guys. This is who he is. The Republicans, yes, they're awful. They're awful. And I understand the mindset of Democratic voters in 2020 who got scared when they saw a candidate like Bernie Sanders, because in their minds, and based on what they were told incessantly in the corporate media, well, if we nominate the more popular candidate who actually wants to implement the changes that would make our lives better, there's a chance that he might lose against Donald Trump. So instead, let's promote and support this honestly half asleep, half Republican goon who really has nothing to offer us. Biden's whole campaign was, I was in the Senate once and I know how to talk to people.
Yeah, but Anna Kasparian was one of the people that told you to go ahead and support Biden. I mean, I'm sorry, but she did it too.
Oh, great. You are a failure. He has failed us on pretty much everything. Unbelievable. The only good thing I've seen come out of the Biden administration that's substantive is his National Labor Relations Board, which is significantly better than what we got under Trump. But outside of that, Biden is a disaster. How would you ever take Mitch McConnell at his word for anything? And what you would even get from this side of the deal if he actually carried it out, if he was actually a man of his word, it doesn't even really matter that much. I just don't get it, man. This party is embarrassing. I can't support them. I don't support them. I can't. I don't know what to tell you. I think that the Democrats would make a huge mistake by letting him run for a second term. They should tell him to go back to bed and let a progressive run. I don't even care who at this point.
See? Let a progressive run. Sure, a progressive can run, But the DNC is going to do everything that they can to stop them, to make sure that they don't actually win, just like they did to Bernie Sanders. Do you want them to do that again, Anna? The same thing that they did to Bernie Sanders twice, 2 election cycles in a row? She's still keeping you in the Democratic Party, still keeping you in the party that is in charge, that is screwing you over. Just like that. Let me make something very clear. When I say leave the Democratic Party, that includes the progressives. When I say leave it, I mean leave all of it. Leave all of it behind. Because the progressives are going into the same party that is swallowing them, eating them alive. They're not going to fight for us in any way, shape, or form. They've showed us multiple times. So when I tell you to leave the whole corrupt, dirty, vile party behind. All of it. Some people don't want to tell you that. Some people don't want to admit that this is not working out. I'm not one of those people. Because I'll be damned if I tell people to go canvass and go volunteer for these candidates again. Not happening. I say let them lose. Not even let them lose. I want them to fall on their ass. Lose big. Let them go out with a bang. Because I think it would be absolutely hilarious. Because then I think they might start to realize that, wait a minute, we might have to actually do something for working class people. Since we're used to be the party of the working class, we might have to actually do something for the working class people. The damn minimum wage, still $7.25 an hour in 2022. They're clowns. All of them. All of them. Bye, Anna. Now, I'm serious. When I tell you I've been done, I've been done. I have been done. And if that means that I don't get any type of access to certain politicians, then so be it. So be it. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you to go support this party when I see what is happening. My wallet sees what is happening. Not going to do it. I'm not in this to get access to politicians. Never met Bernie Sanders, don't know the dude. Never met Nina Turner, don't know her neither. We tried this strategy. It's time to move on. Now, if you guys want to see more Sabby, you can check me out tonight. I'll be on my channel in about 1 hour, actually. I'm going to be talking about a couple of interesting stories tonight. I'm going to talk about Joe Rogan backing Ron DeSantis, Matt Taibbi, Second Amendment. That's a really interesting discussion with Matt Taibbi and the Second Amendment. That's going to be really good. And Joe Biden is rejected. Should be a good show. I'll be over there at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But that is my time, guys. I hope you do have a good 4th of July weekend. Hope you get to have some rest, spend some time with the fam. You know how it is. So I wish you guys the best. Again, I won't be live at all on Monday because I'm going to hang out with the hubs. Other than that, guys, have a good night. Keep up the fight.